Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for watching this video. I hope to pay my respects to my good friend, to our good friends, to my late friend, Tim Vo, aka TiVo, who passed away last Tuesday night into Wednesday. You're watching this on Thursday. I am deeply saddened by the passing of my good friend. He meant the world to me. He was my mentor. He was my confidant. He was my biggest fucking critic. But because I knew that, because he believed in me, he believed in the comic book world, and he believed in bringing people together. He was so groundbreaking and trend-setting that I can only hope to one day aspire to bring as many people in this world together through comic books as he did. But as I pull myself together and start talking about this, I want you to watch one of my favorite videos ever, the beginning of an intro to Lords of the Long Box. Enjoy the beats, enjoy the music, listen to it, because this is amazing.
Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Come on and get some, boy.
That is why they dance on beat.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's three greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Now that's a name I've not heard.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is
Shake and bake and pull it back.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is In this, you shall know that the Lord is Come on and get some, boy.
What the heck is the deal? I'm the best there is.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is
What's in the box?
like a spider monkey.
Is that not one of the best intros you've ever seen? Everything about that exudes Lords of the Long Box. The beats, the videos, the pictures, something I was a part of for many, many, many years. I don't know how long this video is going to go. It might go 10 minutes. It might go an hour. Please let me know your thoughts about any of this. Please reach out to me for any reason whatsoever. I do read all the comments. I'm not even going to tell you to comment, share, like all our videos, because, you know, I hope you watch this and know that this is me remembering my good friends in something that I believe he deserves, which we've done. We've done many things already. The live show that we did to commemorate Tim was something that was just so massive, and it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for amazing people like Laura from Bird City Comics, JB, Discovery Bay Comics, Nemesis Prime, Gabe Loves 90s Comics, Marty Comic Book Fanatics, and all the people that jumped on to talk comic books and collectibles and remember what TiVo meant to us. Death is absolute. That is right. For some reason, death has always been around me, and how I view death might be something different than the way you deal with death. From my experiences, as you guys know, my middle name is Otto. My first name is Everett. When I was young, I was 9 years old. My grandfather was killed in a drunk driving accident by a bunch of clowns who were day drinking. who smashed head on into my grandfather and grandmother's car, killed both of them, killed my grandfather, and my grandmother spent a year in the hospital in rehab. I read The Death of Jean Grey. I read The Death of Vindicator, Guardian. I read The Death of Supergirl. I read The Death of Elektra when I was a kid. When I was 24 years old, my mother passed away of cancer. 7 years ago, at the age of 45, my dad died. How I deal with death is different than how other people deal with death. However you do, however you grieve. The grieving process is important. And for me, this grieving process will help me and maybe help you understand what we need to do to find clarity in the passing of people who pass away way too young. I was actually older than Tim. I'm older than Tim by 4.5 to 5 weeks. And that was a long-standing joke because he always would say I was much older than him. But his birthday is coming up in July. And we have a little something planned for him. So last Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock, I was walking my dog, Maxine, who I talk about all the time. I was listening to the latest latest cover price top 10 on Lords of the Long Box. And the inside joke, which many people know, Tim and I had very different linguistic enunciations. I'm a New Englander. He's a Californian. We say words differently. And that was a long-standing joke. But more importantly, we listen to things, and that's important. And I'm a trained observer. And when I was listening to Tim talk, I knew something was wrong with him. I could hear it in his voice. I knew something was wrong. 4.5 hours later, I got a call saying that Tim had had a heart attack and Tim had passed away. I was in disbelief. I still am in disbelief. I can't believe he's not here. I can't believe we will not hear live anymore. What's good, YouTubeites? Keep digging in long boxes. Boys and girls will never hear Raw Dog, which I created, which we always talk about. It's truly a time of mourning, but also a time to remember a great friend, a great man, and somebody who brought hundreds of people into this world of comic books and made us feel that it was all right to be a geek, not a nerd, as Tim would always say, a geek. Tim would always define the difference between a geek and a nerd. Go back into videos and watch it. And I have never been prouder to be a Lords of the Long Box, Lord, geek, member. As much as I love 3 Men in a Basement, I love Lords of the Long Box. They are one and the same to me. I love every bit about this community. I love everything that I'm doing, and I love everybody that I talk to. So Tim is gone, but his legend lives on, and I'm just going to talk. 1995, no, Jesus Christmas. Oh my God. 2015, 2015. I am the full-on dad. I have 3 young kids. I'm coaching every night. I'm volunteering my time. I'm getting into social media, not so much Facebook, but we're kind of Instagram. I'd always been a comic book collector. For those of you guys who don't know, I couldn't read when I was a kid, and it's because of Stan Lee and my mother and father that I can read, and that's because of comic books. And I've said that many times. I have wicked dyslexia. And back in the 80s, you were just called words that I don't even want to say because you couldn't read. And it's because of the mutants and X-Men that I knew that I was different, but it was okay to be different and move on from that. So I started watching Instagram, and for some reason I typed in comic books, and I find all these hashtags: Mutant Monday, First Appearance Friday, Top Variant Tuesday. And I start clicking on these people, and I'm like, these dudes are my age. These guys and women are my age. Like, there's people in their mid-40s who still collect comic books. Like, I hadn't been to a Comic-Con in years. I was always loving and passionate about the geek culture, but I just wasn't collecting. And in my basement, I had my X-Men. I got so many books. And, I didn't have a graded book though, because these were books that I bought. I started collecting in 1983. I was there with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 came out, which I thought was a complete joke, and I laugh about it all the time. I bought Crisis on Infinite Earth off the rack. I bought Secret Wars off the rack. I bought What Ifs off the rack. I was there. I read it all. I gobbled it all. But I'm like, I'm listening to these dudes. I'm like, I know this stuff, man. I have knowledge, you know. And then I clicked on a link on this dude TiVo's website, and I saw this dude doing haul videos with music that I dug. And I'm like, this is good stuff, man. I like it. And there was production in it. And I'm like, how does he do this? Like, how does he, like, is he a wizard, or like, how does he doing this stuff? This is good quality stuff. Then I started following the live shows, and I was introduced to this guy, Darkside Jedi, who was cool as could be. And he was the man behind the scene that could do anything. And there were other people on the channel too. And I'm like, these guys got knowledge. And then he started doing different things like haul videos. I'm like, you're showing off the books you got? I'm like, that's brilliant with DJ beats behind it. Oh my God, amazing. And I would holler in the chat, and I'd get a comment back, and he'd be like, Otto from the Grotto. And I'd be like, oh my God, all right, a shout out. You know, people love shout outs, and I shout out everybody who watches this video. I shout out each and every one of you for watching this video and, you know, remembering our good friend Tim. And I don't know, I just kind of followed along. And then he started this thing called Fanboy Fight Club, which was on his first channel. If you guys don't know, Tim already had a channel built up to about 7,000 subs that got taken down. Why? He has no idea. I hope he finds out up there at the Great Comic Con in Sky. But, you know, somebody, like, I don't know, they blackballed him or whatever. And then he had to start the channel all over again. I would have quit, but Tim was committed. He's like, no way, I'm going to bring this back. And on the previous channel, he had this thing called Fanboy Fight Club, where he would moderate. Darkside Jedi would do the graphics and the video, and guys like us, guys and gals, would debate, you know, who's better, Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery or Batman's Rogue Gallery, Aquaman or Namor, Hawkeye versus Green Arrow. And then one night he said, I would love to have somebody debate Star Trek versus Star Wars. And I love Star Trek and I love Star Wars, but I wanted to get on this show. And I knew if I won, that would earn me maybe a spot. Who knows? Before that, I did a haul video. We did a remembrance of Steve Ditko, and that was amazing. And that was a lot of fun. And that was my first time, I think, ever going live. I actually don't even remember the first time I went live. My setup has changed so many times. But we had all kicked it off. We had an amazing group chat, and we just thought it was really neat. And he would send out show notes and how you want to run things. And so I threw up the gauntlet and said, I will defend Star Trek against Star Wars. And he goes, all right, you're going up against this guy from Beyond the Blast Door. So I Googled him, and I realized that this guy was a real life TV anchorman, like on the news. Like this guy was he was on social, like he was on the news. Like he turned on channel 22 news in Chicago, and there he was. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to up talk this guy. And I practiced, you guys, for a week and a half, man. I went down to the Grotto in the other location, and I threw up my facts, and I countered, and I role played, and I said, I am not losing this spot, not even knowing if Tim would even invite me to be on the channel. But that night came up, and I'll tell you, it was like, you know, game day ready, because I wanted to be a Lord. Okay. I wanted to be considered, you know, I just almost wanted to be accepted, you know, and I had a great life growing up, you guys. I always had friends around me. I always had people around me, but yeah, I was older now. I was 45. You know, I knew I was going to be a dad for the rest of my life, God willing. I knew I would be involved in sports for most of my kids' lives, but there's going to be a time where, you know, I need to, you know, enjoy my passions, which is comic books. And you can only talk to an 8-year-old, you know, about Batman so much, but when you got adults and you're in depth and you're talking about different storylines, it just, I don't know, it really reinvigorated my passion for comic books. And I can't believe I'm not getting choked up right now, you guys. I guess maybe because I've been thinking about this and wanting to get this off my chest, but you know, I have been crying all week. I cry when I talk about this on my Instagram posts. I am in tears, and I'm okay with that. The way I grieve is different from the way you grieve, and that's okay. And I won Fanboy Fight Club. Boom. And then I'm waiting. All right, you won, Otto. Good job. Talk to you later. Peace. What do you mean? That's it? And a couple days later, he's like, hey man, we got a chance. You want to join us one night live and do you know, the long-term spec list? And I was like, yeah, all right. and 3 Men in the Basement had just started. And I really kind of said, if this guy can do it, well, I can do it. I can't do it as well, and I'm not going to do it the same way, but I'm going to do it differently. And I told him that, and he goes, all right, let's do it. And I'll tell you, this guy over here was my biggest critic. He is my mentor and he was my good friend, but he was my ball buster, man. He was like, Otto, you got to get a new mic. You got to get lighting. You got to get hardwired to the internet. And I'm like, hey, maybe you should do a video and learn how to edit. And I'm like, all right, I want to do all this. And he's like, because it's about how you deliver this product. If you're passionate about it, then you deliver the product to the best of your ability. And I have done that. And I think I still do it. And I'm still trying. And I always know that he'll always be I shouldn't say this. I know that his advice to me will live on for a long time. And even when he wasn't in a live chat, when he would pop on, he would tell me, hey, that mic isn't working. Tell this guy to change his mic. Otto, turn your mic around. Otto, somebody's internet is lagging in the middle of my show. I'm like, what's this guy breaking my stones for? It's because he cared. He cared, and he didn't want this product of comic books to look inferior to other things. And then we were doing a long-term spec list. And I'll tell you, that for a bunch of guys with just generic software, Ryan did an amazing job, Dark Side Jedi, producing this. Justin came on with us, Milton the Manimal, and go back and watch some of these videos, you guys, because this is just great things. And a lot of this stuff came through with Mikey Sutton, the Black Knight, and he would say, who's in? And we would jump on, and that was all on the other channel. And then that went down. And then we helped him rebuild this channel where he came on 3 Men in the Basement. Tim was always such a great guy when coming on other channels. I have a clip right here of when he came on our channel, The Cranky Canadian. And I'm going to let it play for a little bit because this was a little segment that Roger did a few years ago. We would have other people on and they would give their rants because Roger was always cranky and ranting about something. But even to the finest detail, Tim was still wearing his 3MIB shirt. So I'm going to catch my breath, talk about what I'm going to talk about next. And then I will come back to what we're talking about. So please watch this episode or this bit from The Cranky Canadian with Tebow.
You and I will relate to this. So when I first found out about superheroes was the Electric Company, and so I saw Spider-Man, and I was blown away as a kid. Right? And for those who don't remember, Electric Company was on PBS, and they used to have this character come on and teach kids stuff. But Spider-Man didn't talk; he spoke with like word bubbles, right? And then I was like, "Who is this?" And then at the time, we had my uncle who was living with us, and he was going through law school at the time. And this is when we were living back east. We were living in a suburb of Washington, D.C. in Virginia. And while he was going to law school, he used to get Spider-Man comics. And when he was done with them, he gave me to read through. And I was in first grade, so it was half reading and half looking at pictures. But I fell in love with Spider-Man at that time. Later on, I had a neighbor that was super nerdy. I mean, we're talking full-on nerds because they had like an ant farm and all that shit, right? And they had X-Men comics with them while they were playing with their Micronauts, okay? So this is in the late 70s when kids playing with Micronauts and an ant farm and comic books. You don't get any more nerdy than that. That's not geeky. That's nerdy. Yeah. But I had saw these Bronze Age X-Men, and I saw like Nightcrawler on there and Colossus on there and all these strange-looking characters. And I was like, this is nothing like the Spider-Man comics that I've been looking at. And so that really kind of got me involved. And then, of course, like, I don't know, I've always talked about like how the Super Friend cartoons as well. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, my first thing was Spider-Man on the Electric Company, and then the Spider-Man cartoons, and then Super Friends. And then I think I bought my first comic as a kid with my own money, you know, dishing out $1 or 50 cents. Like there were 75 cents, may have been the cover price, or 50 cents. But it was at 7-Eleven, and I got an X-Men 169 or 170, I believe it is. It's the
That's just a little bit about, you know, from The Cranky Canadian. Please go back. You can go back and watch that. And listen to the rest of it. It's really good. They talk about DJing, they talk about beats, they talk about so many different things, you know. So things were swimming along great, man. He had the merchandise. 3 Men in the Basement was growing. He was so supportive. I'm meeting tons of new people. The NY Warriors, Erod 212, Very Gary. This whole community of people was just popping out of the internet who loved comic books. And I started following more people. I met Mike, X-Men 782. I met Nemesis Prime in person. Like I was actually meeting these people, but I never got the chance to meet Tim, and it breaks my heart. We had talked about it. We had talked about meeting. We had talked about meeting somewhere in the middle, and we never did. And if I have 3 or 4 big regrets, that's one of them. So if I can share this with you guys, I challenge each and every one of you that when you say to yourself, that hour and a half, that 2-hour drive is too long to go meet up with somebody, that hour and a half and 2 hours will pale in comparison to the memories that you will have, or the hours that you will think about those memories with people that you have met through comic books, not through work, not family, not extended family, because of comic books, because of the books that I show, because the books that you show, because the books that you collect. I challenge each and every one of you to go on a road trip and say to one of your comic book friends, hey, I'll meet you here. And we have been doing it, and I'm going to do it even more, because God, to think that I never went out to California to meet him. I'm very jealous of all you who have met Tim in person. That being said, the hours that I have spent with Tim, like Discovery Bay would say, is more than I spent with my extended family. I would talk about him all the time. We would talk about things. We would talk about, he loved his dog Vader. I would talk about Maxine. I would talk about family. We would talk about fantasy football. And it was all part of growing this amazing community and just getting to know everybody other than comics. But you know the deep, dark secrets of their comic book collecting, right? Do you know when Doctor Strange, did he wear a cape? No. Don't ever tell TiVo that Doctor Strange wears a cape. It's a cloak. All right. Much different. And you've seen him wear the cloak many, many times. Okay. And that was, that's important. And finding out that he passed away was just heartbreaking. I wish I was on Cover Price more often, but our good friends are doing a great job. I've become internet friends, I guess, or texting friends with his significant other, his love of 22 years, Carla. And I've been, grieving with her, and I know the family is, and his sister, and we all are grieving. And the 100 of people that reached out to me and said, I can't believe this. Well, it's true, you guys, but you're not alone. We are in this process together, and we are going through this together. But I'm going to show you a quick video of myself, Manimal, and TiVo talking about some comic books, and just listen to the passion in his voice, in Manimal's voice, and the camaraderie, because this is something that I think is truly special.
Well, what's good, YouTuberites? Happy quarantine day number. I've been working from home since Monday. 7? Is it 7? Well, welcome to Lords of Long Box. A Black Knight was happy or gracious enough to hook us up with a long-term specialist. Thank God, because.
All right. The long-term specialist. Do you guys remember that? That was so much fun with Mikey Sutton, who we lost last year. It was just an absolute blast. We don't have that anymore. But we have friends that are going to continue to do the Lords of the Long Box, not on the Lord Box channel, but they're going to continue to do the Cover Price Top 10 and the Movers and Shakers over on Cover Price. Laura from Bird City is, handling that, and she's zigging it up. You're going to catch me on it. Because when I found out that he died that morning, I shouldn't say this. When I listened to the show and listened to the content, I said to myself, I've got to get back on. It's time to get back on. But unfortunately, it was too late. I don't even know what I've talked about. I don't even know. But all the things that he brought, all the stuff that we talked about, like we would go back and forth. Like he would break my stones live. Okay, so let me talk about this. People would say to me, Otto, why do you like him break his stones like this for? Like he's like, it's, like you're more like disrespecting you. And I go, listen, you guys, I'm a grown-ass man. If I feel disrespected, I'm going to tell you. I understand that it's the enjoyment, and I don't take it personally. I would say something to him, and he would say it back. Like he always used to joke because he would get maybe stressed out or tied up and be like, I'm quitting YouTube. Oh, I'm quitting YouTube. I'm sure you heard this. And I'd be like, all right, buddy, you're going to quit YouTube, and I'm going to grow another mullet. And we would go back and forth. And that was common knowledge, in our inner circle, of him always saying that he would want to quit, but he cared about you guys too much. He wouldn't let this fail. And that's important too. And he wanted to bring the best and the best. And he brought people in and he brought people out. And He did it. You know, we said show notes would be sent out. I'd be reading notes for a YouTube show, you know, talking about first appearances and stuff like that. Like, that's how much detail that he put into it. The videos, the intros. I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would. I can't thank my friends enough for the video that they did, the live show. Over 500 people in a live chat. Over $1,300 raised for the GoFundMe. Please check out Jay and Gawin's channel on Instagram. Please donate to that. There's some other things in the works about this. There's a few things that you guys might not know about Tim and how generous he was. You heard many, many stories about things that he gave to people or paying it forward, you know, and that's true. And that's what the Lord's was all about. And goddamn, am I proud to call myself a Lord. I wear these t-shirts with pride. You know, we started 3 Men in the Basement because we knew we were on to something fun and good and interesting. And it was Tim that really, really helped us. And you can go back and listen to me and Roger talk about how we had a selfie stick duct taped to an iPhone with a selfie stick duct taped to a bar stool with a 99-cent light. And within 2 weeks, Tim told me to buy a Mac, to get a new mic, you know, to hardwire the internet. And I did it all. I did it all because I knew what he was talking about was right, because I saw it. I saw what he did. And I just thought that was amazing. All right. I'm going to share something with you guys. And this is on Instagram. Okay. This was 2 days ago. Dear friends and family, I received a call from the Legacy Foundations of OC, which is Orange County, which was the county Tim lived in, today. Since Tim had a pink organ donor dot on his driver's license, I was informed they were able to recover enough from Tim to help more than 100 people in need of transplants. They will be able to preserve his donations for years to come. Years to come. That is a legacy. His donation will help burn victims of all ages and people with bone issues. Tim was a 6'4" Asian. My boy had some bone issues. Okay. All right. He was truly an extraordinary human being, and I couldn't have asked for a more wonderful partner. This is from Carla, Tim's girlfriend. Thank you, Timmy, for your generous gifts to others. You should be so proud and happy. I hope you inspired others to become donors, for there is always a need. That's his superpower. He was always helping people out, bringing people together. His legacy lives on. The LOTLB hashtag lives on. You know, I have been posting all week about him. Favorite books today is What If Wednesday. And if you go back and watch some of the videos, he will explain to you how What If #1 was like his biggest book at the time. Like that was his first like $5 wall book, you know, and we love that book. And I love that story. I'm still sitting on my Dakota #1 9.8. I got 4 copies of that thing just because he always said Dakota North is going to pop. Dakota North is going to pop. Yeah, well, tell after those slabs I got sitting over there. They're popping. Yeah, right. But it was part of the hobby. It was fun, you know, and he would never speculate on stuff that he didn't own. He loved comic books, man. He loved everybody. And if he didn't like you, other than Donnie Cates, he just didn't, he stayed so drama free. I'm going to show you another video. Oh, this is, I love this.
It's Lou here, your out-of-shape comic book collector, and I'm welcoming you to another episode of What to Put in Your Box.
Oh man, you're not gonna believe this, dude. Your book came back a 9.8.
A 9.8 karate kick! Oh. Hey guys, it's Comic Lou here, and this is another episode of our Top 10. where the comics we talk about, ironically, are on my eBay store. And I'm here joined by the comic sensei from Alaska himself, Kevin.
What's up, guys? We got our top 10 books. This is on our top 10 here. It's Peach Momoko.
Peach
Interesting.
Momoko!
Want to take a look?
I love Peach Momoko. I love Peach Momoko.
Dude, it's my book. Dude, stop! It's my book! Dude, stop!
Man, I'm T-Ho from Lords of the Short Box. Screw that guy, British style. Yo, DJ curse words, kick it.
First things first, I say all the words inside of me. I'm fired up and tired of the way the things are done.
Man, what the fuck is that?
The way the things are done.
Oh my God.
That never gets old.
It never gets old.
Never get-
It truly doesn't. You know, what the fuck is that, man? Oh, man. Oh, God. I mean, that was just classic T-Ho. What the? And he would say that. What the are you doing, man? You know? Guys, I miss my friend. I've practiced this for the past 4 days, and I teared up every single time. I guess you're just getting me, I don't know, celebrating my friend. And I know you guys all do too. You know, whether his collecting style. I mean, this guy got Finn Jones canceled alone with hashtag curly hair Finn Jones from Iron Fist. You know, I mean, he pissed off Donnie Cates. What else can we say about this? He was the first one to show me, like, he did he met Kevin Eastman, and Kevin Eastman did a promo like, I'm Kevin Eastman, you're watching Lords of the Long Box. I thought that was brilliant. He inspired me to go up to so many people and do that for 3MIB, and it worked. And it was because he took a chance and I took a chance. And I'm going to tell you about people that he used to talk about. These were OGs, and I remember he used to talk about Lightning 228. He used to talk about, oh God, who else was it? Like old school comic dudes that would just do their hauls. He introduced me to Mike, the Big To Do, who owns Comic Dudes and Toys in Tustin, California, which I have never been to, but I have dreamt about it because Tim has talked to me so much about it that I've had dreams that I've been there. And I consider Mike a good friend. And I consider King of the Golden State a great friend. And for you guys don't know, I sold King of the Golden State and Ultimate Fallout 4 to Jervik variant for, I'm going to say 1,500, and he's going to say it was even less than that, but just for face. But I wanted a raffle, and Tim brings it up all the time. He brought it up for years after that, you know, I got worked on that deal. But it was okay because those were memories that we had, experiences that we shared. And unfortunately, we don't have anymore. We don't have those experiences anymore together. And again, how I deal with it, how you deal with it, it's all right. We all deal differently with death. And I'm a little over 35 minutes. I don't even know if I've gotten across what I want to get across, other than I miss my good friends, and I know that you guys do too. And I'm thankful that we all came together and memorialized him in the way that we did. And that if you have a Lords of the Long Box shirt, when I get the exact date of his birthday, I would love you guys to hashtag post those, you know, just to keep him around for a little bit longer. And he'll be around in all the videos. Go back and watch a lot of them. They're so good. The cover price top 10s, the long-term respect list, you know, the banter. It's great stuff. And we're all part of a big community. We're all part of the big Comic-Con. You know, if you got a little beef with somebody, put it aside. It ain't worth it, because you don't know if that person, because no matter what that beef stemmed from, I'm sure you've had some good times, and remember those good times more than the bad times. Tim would always say, you know, when I retire, I'm going to carry on my wayward son. And that song hasn't been more prevalent for me in the past year for a few different reasons, but I really understand it. I mean, his love for the shows, the movies, Bruce Lee, Akira Kawasaki, if I'm even saying that right, Akira Kawasaki, the YouTube shows that he watched, he just, you know, he would find something and he would want you to watch it because he loved it, and I get it. And there's still tons and tons of videos out there. So I don't know. Maybe this was my therapy. Maybe this was my get it out there, but I don't know. I've never done this before. I've never put something like this kind of content out there. I told you I was mad at eBay and something else, but I've never really told you why I was sad. And I'm sad because my friend is no longer here. I'm sad because you guys don't get to enjoy the content that he brought. I'm sad that you guys lost your friendship in him. But again, I challenge you, when you think that somewhere is too far to travel, or you just don't have the time, or if you're just lazy, don't be. Because tomorrow is never guaranteed. So that being said, I am Everett. I am OTTO. I am a Lord. And I'm also one of the founding members of 3 Men in a Basement. And it's all possible because of my good friend Tim. So Tim, I miss you. I hope to meet you again at the big Comic-Con in the sky. So, my friends, carry on. You will truly be missed.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Though my eyes could see, I still was a blind man. Though my mind could think, I still was a madman. I hear the voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear them say, carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
How many people put stuff like that in their videos? You all got that from Tim. Everybody got it like that. Well, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for watching. But remember, tomorrow is never promised. I am OTTO, and I miss my friend.